we're giving you an opportunity to get to know some of your athletes as well as some of your coaches. I'm your host, Holly Stevenson, and with me today, I have the head coach for women's soccer once again, JB Belzer. Coach, thank you, and also quick congratulations on the win last night as well as the RMAC Championship title.
Well, Holly, thank you. Certainly exciting to be postseason now, and it was a good win last night. After not playing for 9 days, you always wonder how we're going to begin, but we were sharp and we got out to an early lead. The opponent came back, scored a goal, and we conceded. It was we got to make that better and we got to change. But the immediate response, we scored within a minute or two to extend the lead back to 2 goals and wrote it out well, had some good performances around, shared a lot of minutes, and we're off and flying to the semifinals now.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is kind of a very exciting first year for you. Not that you're any stranger to the NCAA tournament or conference championships or anything like that. But this year has been a little bit unprecedented just because we've all been trying to adapt with the COVID. And you guys weren't officially given the title until Monday. So how did that change the sweetness of the victory from Sunday, having to wait till Monday to officially be able to celebrate any of that?
Honestly, Holly, it didn't. Not for me, maybe for the players. I don't wrap myself up in title names or things. We're just trying to coach a team, play soccer, get better, and we play as long as they allow us to play. And so the hard work and the persistent emphasis on quality and trying to be a better version of yourself each day leads us forward, and everything else falls from that. So if we win games, we win championships, we're anointed a title, then that's all because of the hard work we've put on the training field.
Absolutely, and what a great way to kind of look at that whole season. But you are basically entering the NCAA tournament with a perfect season right now. I'm not trying to jinx anything, but what do you feel like has been your team's greatest strength or strengths this season?
Well, first to clarify, we are not in the NCAA tournament. This is the RMAC tournament.
You're right, yeah.
And the NCAA back in September said that fall championships, fall sports, you're not going to have a championship this year. And so we knew early this academic year that we would be playing for an RMAC regular season title and hopefully an RMAC tournament title, and that would be it. So we've known for a while that's going to be the end goal for this COVID year of soccer.
Yep.
But I'm sorry, ask your second question again about.
Yeah. So what do you feel has been your team's greatest strengths with this season?
Resiliency. I really think it's the resiliency. We've handled some COVID situations, both in the fall and even in the spring. And we've just grind. We've just had a mentality that we're going to handle any roadblock that is presented to us. We're going to, again, try to make ourselves a better version of ourselves and of our team each day. And there's an appetite to perform, to achieve, to find that family within the group and enjoy the process as opposed to just focus on an end goal or an end product.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned previously that with the schools that you've been at before, you've led them to their own titles and championships as well. What do you feel your coaching style is, and why do you think it works so well for the school, for the programs that you take over?
Well, first, I believe in student athletes. I believe in why they come to college to receive an education, but also to compete and to play the game that they truly love. And that's true in any sport. So you believe and you empower your student athletes to achieve. You work with them on a daily basis to help them become that better version of themselves. You guide them, you instruct them, you provide the training environment. You surround yourself with great people. And associate head coach Alex Schultz, we have a fantastic coach, a fantastic mentor, leader, and he and I work extremely well together. So it's a combination of empowering and believing in your student athlete, surrounding yourself with great people. We've had great help from Dave Meyer, working with our goalkeepers this spring, kind of as a volunteer capacity. And we have Allison Regal in the Hibble Sports Performance Center. Sharice Endries is doing our ATC work, the majority of that. And you just empower your student athlete to do her thing and do it well. And so in that process, you create those relationships and you create the buy-in from the student athlete that they believe that you truly are about them and you want what's best for them. And I found through the years that if you do that, most of those athletes really want to go to bat, not just for you, but for your program, for your entire team and their teammates. And it creates a championship formula.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's definitely worked very well for you so far. And touching a little bit about transitioning from one school to the next, what do you feel was your biggest challenge? And we may have talked about this in our previous interview, I can't remember. But what do you feel it was the biggest challenge for your transition? And what's the biggest difference, I guess, for you between the departments that you've been in?
Well, there's two questions there.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest challenge, obviously, Coach Hudson had done a phenomenal job with her 3-year stint, being empowered well by our athletics administration and the university in general, and recruited wonderful student athletes. And so coming in and kind of not imposing me with dogmatic style and doing everything differently. I'm comfortable enough in my own shoes to recognize what's working really well and work with that and try to augment and improve it. And so we didn't try to upset the apple cart and change everything. We've kept many of the cultures and many of the traditions that the previous coaching staff has led well with. And I think that's worked. And so that was the biggest challenge, was to convince the student athletes in the program that, hey, we're not here to make radical change. We're here to help take you to another level and to augment what's already done well and just continue the path forward and be great. As you've already been great once, let's be great again. So I think the second part of your question was about the departmental support.
What's the biggest differences that you've noticed between departments?
One of the reasons I left Regis University was what I perceived to be a lack of institutional support from the highest levels of the university. And to their defense, it just didn't have the means and the ability to really help athletics the way athletics needs to be helped on a campus. And in UCCS and Chancellor Reddy and his cabinet and Nathan Gibson, executive director of athletics, and how Nathan has led and become a huge portion of the front door of UCCS. Athletics has a place at the table and is well respected, is well funded, is expected to achieve, expected to lead, expected to be a significant contributor on campus. And that is what I sought. That is what I see in my year and 2-month tenure so far. And I remain excited for that. And I think that is one of the reasons why Mountain Lion Athletics is succeeding so well.
That's great. That's awesome. So touching back on your team a little bit now, you mentioned that there were some things that you wanted to work on after the opposing team scored goals and everything like that. Are you guys doing anything different to prepare for Friday's game?
Well, we have to sharpen our defensive transition moments. We were caught in possession and then made rash decisions to step when the tactical cues didn't warrant that. We have to be a little bit with a bigger presence in our goalkeeping. So, it was 3 successive errors in a matter of a 5-second span that really helped to contribute to the conceding that goal. And fair play to Adams State. They found that opportunity and executed it well. But we have to be better. Offense wins games and defense wins championships. The 3 opponents that advanced yesterday, besides ourselves, all advanced with shutouts, 1-0, 1-0, and 2-0. And yet we advanced scoring loads of goals, but conceded. And so the message has to be, it's good to score goals, but at the end of the day, you can't get beat if you don't concede a goal. And so we'll work with the next 2 days to make sure we're sharp in our transition moments, that we still can attack with great ability and be creative and unpredictable, which is what we were yesterday. But we have to be sharp defensively.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, but what a testament to your coaching style too, for them to be able to for that goal to happen, but then just respond immediately with their own offense on the other end. So it's great.
Yeah, we call those big five moments. Whenever a
Yeah.
goal occurs or a kickoff, the 5 minutes preceding these moments are massive, and you have to have great intensity, great focus, great quality. And you're right, to let them draw back into the game and give them a sniff at hope at 2-1. It made, within a minute and a half, I think we had created a great cross. Amelia Jungi crossed a great ball, asked a question. Tori Maydou's making a great run, and the defender turns it into her own net. And
Right.
so, own goal, but it was the creation and the mentality to go forward and
Yep.
respond. And yes, that was as a coaching staff, we were like, yes, that's exactly the response we expect after conceding. And really, even after we score a goal, it's always big five moment, go again, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And so we are fortunate enough to be able to host the tournament on our home field. And so how much of an advantage do you feel like that is just for you and your players mentally, as well as just knowing the turf and the field better than the other teams?
It's always an advantage. You always want to be at home. You sleep in your own bed. You don't have the wear and tear of travel. You know the nuances of the surface and your home
Yeah.
environment. You typically get better fan support. So yeah, we always play for the right to host, and we had set that out as a goal in trying to perform in the conference portion of the season, and unfortunately, we're able to earn that.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. I would agree with that. With these games being basically the final of the season, do you have trouble getting your student athletes to relax a little bit or just kind of focus more in practice, or do they try to act like this is just a regular game at the end of the season or normal
Holly,
season?
it's an interesting question. It's a fine balance between optimal arousal and
Hmm.
not taking it seriously enough.
Yeah.
Um, and so last week we had to tear into them a bit because we'd found a little bit of complacency in how we were arriving to training and preparing and warming up. And
Hmm.
we called attention to it and said, look, that's not the standard. That's not good enough. This is
Right.
not championship level performance. You have to
Hmm.
change. And they responded immediately, and it's been good. So we'll just have to read. We'll read where
Yeah.
the mood is and where it's at today and tomorrow. And as a coaching staff, we try to move some levers as
Hmm.
we're seeing things to either ramp it up with intensity or bring them back down if they're over aroused. And so
Right.
it's never something that is an absolute. You have to read it on the day and in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you have a day full of meetings, and so it's pretty packed for you. So I have just one more question, then I'll let you go. I promise. Um, I ask all of the student athletes if they have like a game day routine to get them hyped or kind of focused for the game. How do you, as a coach, prepare for your games, or do you have your own routine?
Um, I haven't found my game day routine here yet,
Hmm.
to be fair, relative to my previous posting. Um, and I think that's a function of the disruptions we've continually had and COVID.
Yeah,
And it just hasn't yet to find my own rhythm. So I'm still experimenting, to be fair, if I'm going to
that's
give
awesome.
an honest answer. Yesterday was great. I got a workout in at the rec center. And so I was able to kind of work off some energy
Yeah.
and focus. And then I had a series of meetings. Um, we went to the locker room early and prepared the locker room with our scout and information. Had a coffee.
Hmm.
Coffee seems to get me going a little bit. It's caffeine, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And so that's maybe part of the game day ritual.
Yeah.
Still trying to hone in on the exact rhythm that flows for me here at UCCS right now. It'll come. I'm
Yeah.
not worried about it. It's really
Absolutely.
not about me. It's really more about our student athletes and making sure they're in the right rhythm and right form.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sure with the seasons coming up, with things going back to normal and there isn't the constant canceling, postponing, rescheduling, it'll get easier definitely for a routine to happen. But I want to thank you once again for taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit down with me again. It's always a pleasure to talk to you on a regular basis. So congratulations again on the season. We wish you the best of luck on Friday and games to come. Mountain Lions, this has been Lionsverse. Join me next week for another episode, and until then, enjoy the rest of your week.